What is going on, everybody? It is episode 662 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. We are back from the weekend. A lot of crazy stuff on the timeline this weekend from the Olympics ceremony.
Yeah, we'll get to that a different day this week. You got to collect your thoughts, think about what you want to say.
Well, that and the fact that episode 666 is coming up on Friday, I just felt like it was perfect timing that we would save all of that discussion for that episode.
Couldn't the Olympics have been fair and just waited to do their demonic stuff until closer?
Yeah, they should really be scheduling their demonic rituals around our schedule.
It would be more fair.
To make our content. Yeah.
It would be more fair.
That would help.
Yeah, guys. So that discussion will happen this week. Stay tuned for that one. But today, we got a bunch of stuff to get into. But before we do, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel, please, if you have not done so already. Again, please and thank you. And share the video with friends, family, loved ones, people you like, people you don't like, everyone in between. The more people you share these episodes with, the more people you share the segments with, the faster channels like ours grow. And it is the best way to help us. So thank you so much for doing that. Also, remember, all Super Chats, $20 and over, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read those Super Chats right then and there, and then we will do our very best to get back on topic. So what are our topics today? Well, we got a bunch of stuff to get into. One thing is that the combined efforts of Deadpool and Robert Downey Jr. are looking to pull a sinking ship up from the ocean. Perhaps if they were around when Jack was on the side of that door, they would have been able to save him, because they're trying to save the fledgling MCU. Of course, Deadpool opened to buku bucks this weekend. Huge numbers for Deadpool
What
and
did you
Wolverine.
just say?
Buku bucks.
What does that mean?
You'll have to look it up. So
What?
It's just a turn of phrase. So
Never heard that.
$444.3 million this weekend it opened to. Also, Robert Downey Jr. is in fact back as Dr. Doom in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they got no one else and nobody else could make people excited at Comic-Con, so they had to go and do that. So we're going to discuss all things Marvel. We're also going to talk about Ava Tyson follow-up. More allegations have come out, and now they're saying that MrBeast's game show is basically like a movie of Saw. So we're gonna talk about that. It's just been a bad week in general for MrBeast.
But I think that this is really a clever PR maneuver, and you pointed that out as well.
Yes.
He's trying to make a distraction, a different controversy, so that he's not implicated with his now former employee.
Well, what you do is you flood the timeline with more news stories about something not related to SA and various things like that, and it helps you in the long run. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about two separate stories involving Elon Musk. One is that he is being accused of withholding his children, some of his children, from their mother. And also there is a couple of threads going around online that claim that Elon Musk is a secret furry. Is he? Is he not?
I would
Wait and
believe
see.
it. I would believe it for sure. I haven't seen any confirmation one way or the other, but we have some evidence to pull up and show you guys. My instincts are telling me that he is secretly a furry.
We'll have to
or
wait
at the very
and see.
least, fur curious.
We'll have to wait and see. If you're ready, Mary, it's Monday. We can just get into it. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. First things first, ladies and gentlemen. Jake Paul doubles down and says that Donald Trump has his vote for the 2024 election. He's backing the 45th president. He wants to make some 45 and 47.
He already did this fake squaring up thing with Logan a few weeks ago, and now Jake has done the same thing. And Jake has fully endorsed Trump by now. I don't know if Logan did, but they're both definitely favorable to him. They did an episode of the Impulsive podcast the day after the assassination attempt, and both of them were talking about him. They offered Trump $12 million to buy the MAGA hat he was wearing that day.
To buy it.
I think, which made me wonder, where did that hat ever go? Are we ever going to see it?
Well, if we lived in a reasonable country, it would end up in a museum somewhere.
It should.
But I don't think that that's what's going to happen. Did you see everything that's
Yeah.
going around where if you try to Google search Trump assassination, it doesn't show you any search results?
Well, if you look up like assassination attempt, it will only show like Reagan.
Truman. That's
Truman.
if you go all the way through M, it says
Yeah,
Truman.
exactly. But Jake Paul said we need Trump to knock out all his opponents on election day to save America from more unnecessary wars, the woke agenda, and preserving freedom of speech. And shortly after the assassination attempt, Jake said that it was an act of God that he survived. Good beats evil every time. I pray for peace and prosperity for the world, and I believe Trump gives us the best chance at that. He kept us out of wars. Hundreds of thousands of innocent people have died in Ukraine and Gaza. We need Trump.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about for the RNC, right? That they needed to bring these guys out for the Republican National Convention. You know what they should have done? They should have built an impulsive set on the stage of the Republican National Convention.
Just record an episode on the stage. Well, if really it's an oversight of Trump's campaign that things like this haven't happened, but it's good to see that he's at least doing some social media content with them.
Imagine your timeline, like the timeline you'd imagine yourself to be in if like you're at the RNC and you're walking by and you go past like Tim and he's recording his show, and then Logan Paul's recording his show, and then Amber Rose is making like a cameo video or something like that.
Yeah.
All sorts of people, all sorts of types over there. But this is exactly what he needs if he's looking to get the youth vote, though I do think that unfortunately this means that it falls even further down gender lines because...
well, sure, but you need young male voters too.
Yes, you do.
I don't think that there's ever going to be within our lifetime some flip where young women suddenly are favorable to the right wing rather than the left. But you could at least try.
If the party's flipped again.
You could at least try. I'm sure that they have the Gen Z girls at least have boyfriends who like Jake Paul and listen to Impulsive.
He's got to get you know what he's got to do? He's got to get the black shorts with the white socks and the dirty white shoes next. That's what Trump needs to go out in next time he goes golfing.
Like all of the broccoli haircut Zoomers who wear white tube socks and white sneakers.
They really are. I never noticed.
For Trump.
I never noticed, but they really are when they say that like dirty white sneakers. They are always really dirty.
Are they dirty Yeezys?
And you know what it is? I realized that basically it's the same. It's the same trend that happened with jocks when I was in high school and college, meaning that they wear the college hat, and it's a white college hat and it's sweat stained and dirty. And I think at some point they started selling them like
now they come
dirty
sweat stained.
Yes, they just come like faded yellow.
Yeah. Pre-tattered shirts, pre-ripped jeans. It's been going on for a long time.
You don't even have to, like, the hat is the easiest one to do. All you have to do is sweat a little bit. Like, put in just the tiniest amount of work.
I remember Phil was talking about how he tries to, you know, present himself, like, very well. And he says that he, like, stops to clean his shoes in the middle of the day if they get dirty. Like he wipes down his white sneakers and makes sure that they're really nice and pristine.
It's a generational
and I was like,
thing.
That's a generational thing because the Gen Z guys are intentionally dirtying their sneakers or buying them pre-dirty.
That's awful.
That's
really
just
is.
the trend.
How are you going to go out and vote like that, guys?
Trump is going to need to sell white Trump sneakers that are pre-dirty.
With white socks.
Yeah.
45
and 47 socks.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll have to wait and see if this actually makes a difference for him. But good for them. He's got to find the youth vote somehow. Mm-hmm. All right. You're going to have to explain to everybody what the hell is going on with Britney Spears, because this is one of those stories that it was the most chaotic thing in the world when I read through it. But I was like, okay, that's on brand for her.
Everything related to Britney Spears is chaotic.
Correct.
Everything about her social media presence is chaotic. That's not surprising. Mm. I looked up her Instagram just before the show, and I saw that she deactivated it again. I don't know how Instagram allows you to do this, but she's probably deactivated her account over 1,000 times.
You know what the problem is? This is something that you should be able to make note of yourself. If you get really good at knowing how to go through the deactivation process, it means you've done it too many times.
Yeah, she's just on autopilot when she does it now.
Like when I got rid of my Facebook, it took forever to figure out.
Yeah,
really
she must know the process really well by now. But allegedly, Britney Spears got her Instagram account hacked. I'm sure that's happened before. But it's just what she posts when she's not hacked is so bizarre that how is anyone supposed to know that it's not you?
It's going to be bad for her in the days of AI because people are going to make insane AIs of her.
They already are. A lot of people think that Britney is AI already.
It's very possible.
Britney Spears said that she is not suing Halsey for her new Lucky music video. And she says she wasn't the one that posted the following statement. She said, for obvious reasons, I'm very upset about the Halsey video. I feel harassed, violated, and bullied. I didn't know an artist like her and someone I looked up to and admired would illustrate me in such an ignorant way by tailoring me as a superficial pop star with no heart or concern at all. I have my own health problems, which is why I took down my Instagram account yesterday. I will definitely be putting it back up to show I care. I'm speaking with my lawyers today to see what can be done on this matter. It feels illegal and downright cruel. So the hacker, alleged hacker, posted something on her Instagram claiming that Halsey used Britney in her music video, a character of Britney in her music video, to denigrate her. And I'm guessing that it was probably a Britney stan who hacked her account and felt that she needed to take justice into her own hands. But yeah, she claims this is all fake news and it wasn't her on the phone. She said, I love Halsey and that's why I deleted it. So it's no longer there. But we were about to bring up her Instagram just the other week because she posted this bizarre photo of a bag of shredded cheese. Tillamook. That brand of shredded cheese. And the caption was something like, what was it? It was like, everybody is talking about, it was probably related to the assassination attempt. Everybody's talking about this, but I just want to F.
And I don't know what that has to do with shredded cheese.
And I don't know either.
I guess specifically it could be related to that brand of shredded cheese, but I haven't done my due diligence on Tillamook as a company.
She uses shredded cheese in the bedroom somehow.
I don't really want to think about that at all.
That's some kind of fetish for shredded cheese.
She's like, I don't like whipped cream. I'm a shredded cheese gal.
Yeah. Not even the spray cheese?
Not even the spray.
It raises so many questions and there are no answers. There are never any answers.
It's like the guy who goes like this.
Yeah.
With the spray cheese. Yeah. Ugh. Yeah. She's a mess.
You know that trend where people like throw the slice of cheese on their baby?
Yes.
I want to see someone do that to Britney.
And just see if it calms her down.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
That could be the
cure. Is that denigrating to the baby?
I thought that they made the trend because it makes babies stop crying.
I mean, yes, but you're still hitting a human being with a piece of cheese in the face.
I mean, it's not as bad as the egg trend.
That is true. There's a 20 there.
Crispy Like Transport said, how was Deadpool? I need spoilers. Well, Deadpool was Deadpool.
Deadpool was Deadpool.
It was definitely a movie of all movies.
I really enjoyed it. We did put out a review that does have spoilers in it. I would recommend going and watching that video and deciding for yourself whether it's a movie you want to go and see.
I mean, to make a long story short, I hated it.
Mary hated it. I loved it.
Yeah.
As you, I'm sure like anybody who watches this channel can
You already know the drill.
Yes, that was what was going to happen.
That's what I expected to happen.
It's okay. It's all right.
It was a movie of all time.
I don't think that's fair. Look, we have to agree on it if we're going to give it the, it was a movie thing. That's only if we agree that it's awful. All right, let's move on then, shall we? So speaking of ridiculously weird situations, just like the Britney Spears one, Tuah girl is still in news. First of all, I saw that she was on Bill Maher the other day. And I got into a discussion with someone about like, why would they have her on? What does she have to offer? I said, actually, it's the fact that she's pretty much a normal person that is her appeal. And I kind of came to the realization that if I have to choose between a reality star being a real person and an internet celebrity like Tuah girl being a real person, I'd rather hear the stories of her because I have more in common with the average everyday person, who may end up going viral than I ever will, the Real Housewives of so-and-so or anybody who ends up on Survivor.
I mean, I don't find Bill Maher's conversations interesting anyway because he just smokes weed and then tells you that you're wrong about everything and he's right about everything.
There's a 20 there from Crispy Like Transport.
He said, I will go check out that review. Thank you.
Also, where did the LLC go?
It's not an LLC anymore. It's a high liability.
All right. So Hawk Tuah girl linking up with RFK Jr. is the most random collab of 2024. Yes, actually.
So this was at the Bitcoin conference, right?
That was so funny. Like I saw people in my timeline that I just didn't imagine. It's just weird. It made me think of just how politicized everything is.
Yeah.
And I just was like, it was like a musician that I follow. I'm like, why are they at the Bitcoin conference?
Well, Trump is the pro-Bitcoin candidate.
Yes.
Kamala is the anti-Bitcoin candidate. So that's why it was kind of a political event.
Yeah.
But yeah, there she is taking a selfie with RFK Jr.
And what I'm imagining is RFK is like being told by his like assistant who she is and what is going on right before he meets her.
I mean, he's pretty online. Maybe he knows. Maybe he already knew.
I love all of the memes that get made of like, it's like a woman on the internet and then it puts the RFK post underneath there.
It might be weird for her to go into an event like this where everyone comes up to you and they're just like, oh, Hawk Tuah!
Yeah.
Like,
she's
that
like,
would get annoying at a certain
she's
point.
Like, my name is Haley. Okay, I have a
name.
I have a name.
You know my name, not my story.
Exactly.
You know my Hawk Tuah, not my story.
It's just, anyway, and then you showed me this.
There was this street interview video where this girl was hating on Hawk Tuah girl for moving to LA.
The girl that says, Hawk Tuah, you're not that funny. You shouldn't have gotten a manager team and moved to LA.
She does not like her.
Grow up.
Why do you hate
You're not
her?
that famous. Because, okay, there's so many people on Vine and on YouTube that got famous. And from one video, we don't know who they are. They didn't get a manager team and move to LA like weirdo. I'm sorry, but like, you're not that big. Like, relax.
She's jealous, and I actually would love to do that.
Relax.
It's funny because her friend was like butting in and saying, she's just jealous. I love Hawk Tuah girl. But what she said is actually not true. It's not factually true. There are a lot of people who had like a really viral TikTok or a Vine, and they did actually get a management team. They actually did they moved to LA, they started a podcast or got a bunch of brand deals, and now to this day, you know who they are, and not just because of their viral video, but you know them by name. So that has worked out for a lot of people.
Yeah, the goal would be to make your name more famous. Unfortunately, like her name is connected to the video itself. So the goal, I suppose, would one day be that eventually she gets known by her actual name, Haley, or Hawk Tuah just becomes something. It's like when you say a word too many times, you forget what it means. Like, you don't want to actually be referenced back to the original video. You want the sum total of whatever work she does to follow to come to mind before the viral video.
She actually joined X over the weekend. I don't know if you saw, but
No.
I realized that we were misspelling her name the entire time, and it's actually Haliey.
It's not Hai.
Nope. It's IEY.
Did we? I mean, I don't think we misspelled it. Did we ever use her name in anything?
I think we might have, but
I don't think we ever actually put her name in there.
that took me by surprise.
Yeah.
So she's everywhere now. She's giving it her best shot. Like, see if she can
What's
really
gonna
make
happen?
it like Britney Broski or one of the Paul brothers.
Or like one day there's going to be a reality. There's going to be Big Brother viral video edition, and her and Plain Lady and a bunch of other celebrities will go and do a Big Brother season.
But they're too normal, right?
You got to make them less normal. I see Chet Hanks is doing a reality.
You have to
TV now.
psychologically torture them to make them more entertaining.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal of the MrBeast game show, too.
Well, we'll get into that. All right, let's move on then, shall we? So,
Speaking of psychological torture.
yes, I came across this and I thought it was interesting. As you know, given all the information and the news we have to cover today about Marvel, Comic-Con was going on over the weekend. Well, in case you were not interested in any of the panels and you didn't want to actually talk about the movies or the comics or the television adaptations, there was in fact a phone sex line that you could call into. It wasn't officially endorsed by Comic-Con though. That bummed me out. I was hoping to find out that this was officially licensed by San Diego Comic-Con.
So on the same weekend as Comic-Con, this phone sex line posted a promotion for their services where you can speak to sexy role play characters from your favorite superhero franchises. You will be relieved to know, as I found out, that Comic-Con was not affiliated in any official way, but I thought that this was like a booth, an official booth that they had at Comic-Con for people to like talk to Black Widow.
For WandaVision, for Wanda Maximoff, press 1.
Yeah.
For Black Widow, press 2.
So do you want to play their
the
extremely ineffective promo?
Oh man, this lady is just, she needed to read these lines more than one time. Like it sounds like this was her first crack at it. This wouldn't work, I don't think. Here, take a listen.
Tonight, do you ever dream of a sexy superhero? Tonight, do you ever dream of
that was all
wooden.
they did.
It's very wooden. It doesn't have a whole lot of pull to it. But to be fair,
Where's the script?
My guess would be that the ones who are truly effective at this don't exactly look like what you would imagine, you know, an attractive, you know, Black Widow cosplayer would look like. They look very, very different.
Are all phone sex operators actually fat, middle-aged women?
Yes, they are.
Is that the truth?
I'm sure
Do we
it
know
is.
that for a fact?
We'd have to do some type of study to double check.
But yeah, I don't know how cosplay comes into it if you can't see the person.
Yeah, you're just guessing, right?
They're just saying, I'm Black Widow, or whatever they are.
I guess the goal would be, it's not about how they're dressed, but it would be about how well they know the lore for the character. Mm-hmm. Be fantastic. All right, guys. So
Disgusting.
I thought that was
disgusting.
More than a little. Mary needed to a couple of Hail Marys after reading all that, I'm sure.
I really did.
Okay. All right.
Losing faith.
What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's start with cringe.
Cringe. Yeah, because this is a longer one.
This
you
is
said
a longer
Okay.
cringe, and it's really bad.
That bad? Oh
Yeah.
man, if she's giving me a disclaimer,
It's slam
awful.
poetry. That's all you need to know.
Okay. All right, here we go. Let's listen to this.
White boy says, I had to wait in line at Starbucks today, so I know about oppression. White boy retweets NPR and watches Jeopardy for fun. White boy won't admit it, but he likes it when you get the answer wrong. Likes the feeling of knowing just a little bit more than you do. White boy listens to indie music and paints his life a 500 days of summer shade of mope because the whole world loves him the least. White boy is glad Green Book won the Oscar and not glad that Trump is the president. Not glad, but safe. Happy to know he will not have to live in a world where white people are the minority. White boy says, aren't you white? White boy says he knows all about brown people because of all the Spanish girls he's dating. White boy says, aren't you white? Safe. Happy to know he will not have to live in a world where white people are the minority.
They are a global minority, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
White boy says, aren't you white? White boy says he knows all about brown people because of all the Spanish girls he's dated. Says real tacos have radishes on them. Says horchata is Mexican titty milk. And I'm like, damn, I wish my titties were full of horchata. Or maybe I don't, because white boy would just set me up at a hipster cold brew coffee shop somewhere and start turning a profit while I bust my horchichis in another episode of cultural appropriation at its finest. White boy thinks my brown mouth is dirty with every flip of my chingona tongue and every fuck you shouted at the Orange TV pendejo. White boy thinks my brown mouth, my brown friends, my brown life is dirty when I tell him that I am tied to this land, to my native Aslan tongue and the red dirt in my teeth. White boy responds by texting me a picture of a cartoon Pocahontas, naked ass out, standing next to John Smith, who is holding a looped belt, smiling. White boy says, JK, LOL. White boy thinks it'd be kinky if I said colonize me daddy right before he comes. White boy tells me this in a Tinder message, tells me he does not believe in privilege, meaning it is not a privilege to love me, not a privilege to hold me or fuck me or whisper in my ear. White boy just expects these things, just like his ancestors did. White boy says he could beat me at a job interview or a sport or a poetry slam. White boy says he could beat me. White boy says I don't need your consent, I'm your boyfriend. Doesn't understand the word no since he is the only one who ever gets to say it. White boy tastes like expensive toothpaste and entitlement. His favorite movies are The Social Network and American Psycho.
Those are good movies.
About luring me in like prey. Tells me about the way bunny rabbits are calm to stillness and forced to trust just before someone slides the skin off their small bodies. He tells me this while playing with my hair. So I am splayed across his chest, wondering why I keep making the same mistakes over and over again. He's so comfortable with the way that history keeps repeating itself, and I just want to kick and push my way out of his palms. I am all bunny rabbit, heartbeat, and sudden will to live. White boy always leaves me hoping that I won't have to run away screaming this time. Leaves me wishing that he was better than all of the men and mistakes before him. White boy says, that he is already the best that there ever was.
Give her the snaps. Give her the snaps. I can't snap. I'm trying to snap.
Why did you make me watch that?
Because it was really cringy, and that's the point, isn't it?
Okay. I
think she's just mad that a white guy didn't want to date her.
I can't imagine a relationship where she doesn't have like the most feminine. She's the alpha female of the relationship in the most manipulative way possible, right? I don't imagine that she is, a dude who thinks The Social Network is the best movie is probably not the most alpha, right?
I don't know.
Everything she sounded like self-hating
I think
ignorance.
that The Social Network and American Psycho are good movies.
Okay, but she said best movie. Okay, that's
maybe they're not the best, but
just no.
I didn't like the slander.
And that was I don't know how I feel about that. There's a 20 there from Debbie Nanners.
He said, "Thank you for your trauma dump." That is literally the point of all slam poetry, is just trauma dumping to an entire room of strangers, and then they snap for you. They snap. If I knew how to snap, I would be snapping right now.
You don't know how to snap?
Well, I know how to do it. It just doesn't work. You don't hear a snap, do you?
Well, go buy the mic and do it.
Well, it doesn't work.
Well, we would have snapped for her if we could snap.
Big snaps to her.
Yep.
Hope she gets the help she needs.
She doesn't need help. She's got a therapist in slam poetry. She'll be fine.
She needs Jesus.
She'll be fine. She'll be fine. Okay. Literally, I feel like on a better day I would have something witty to say, but all that did was depress me.
I guess it's the depression of the day.
Yeah,
today.
it was. All right, let's move on. Cute of the day.
We have palate cleansers.
I want a palate cleanser here. This is from Candace. Birdwatch duty.
Oh,
they're watching that slam poetry right there.
It's bonding for them.
They're watching that slam poetry performance right there.
I like the one on its perch.
Yep.
Cute.
Let's do one more here. Thank you, Candace. And this one is from Beer and Gear. Here's Pima, Sancho, and their cousin Bella, who came for a visit.
Are they really cousins? That's cute. Oh, look at Sancho.
With
permanent wink.
With his one eye. That's very adorable. That is fantastic. All right. Well, now that that's all said and done, thank you for that, Mary. That was the greatest cringe of the day we've ever had. That might be the worst.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I think. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Let's move on then, shall we? Let's get into it. So, guys, over the weekend, Marvel began its attempt to pull itself back up by the bootstraps and start over again. Deadpool opened huge at the weekend box office. It made $444.3 million, making it the sixth biggest opening domestically and the biggest R-rated opening domestically. It opened to $211 million here. And this is just one of two major steps that they've taken to reinsert themselves as the number one force in movies and entertainment. I don't think it's going to work. The other one, of course, being that Robert Downey Jr. is back in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, except he is not back as Tony Stark. He is back as Victor Von Doom, as Dr. Doom.
Before we get into that, we have another 20 from Not That Jon Stewart. He just gave a few snaps for our cringe of the day. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I expected Deadpool to do well at the box office, even though I hated it. I understand that there is a huge audience that really wanted to see that.
Yes.
And it was fan service at its best. Some people said that it was a desperate attempt to save the MCU while it's in a huge slump, and they did make inside jokes about that throughout the movie.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
To the people who are watching this in segment form, this happens during the live show when we reach a certain amount of super chats every episode.
Just so no one is confused.
I'm not cutting this out. This movie is the only openings higher than this were Spider-Man No Way Home, Avengers Infinity War, and Endgame, and then both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens are the only movies that open higher than that.
It's all because of Taylor Swift.
Yes, that's
because
exactly what
everyone
happened.
thought there was going to be a cameo of Taylor Swift as Dazzler in this movie, but actually she posted about it on her Instagram story in a very inorganic, pandering fashion.
Can you imagine like having her money and still doing paid posts? I don't know if I actually buy that.
She ended that post saying, "Shout out to Wade Wilson, aka my god kid's sperm donor."
That part is definitely a paid promotion part because she would not.
I don't think she would ever write any of this, but she is friends with Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, so that makes sense.
The opening for Deadpool and Wolverine is similar to that of Multiverse of Madness. The difference here is that the word of mouth on Multiverse of Madness was way worse, and eventually it like dropped off a cliff in the second week. I think this movie hits $1 billion very, very easily. Multiverse of Madness fell just short. I think it was in the $900 million range, but it's going to make $1 billion, and it's going to make $1 billion very quickly. But that's not the biggest news here. The biggest news, what's going on right now, is that at Comic-Con, Marvel announced that they're scrapping Kang. They're getting rid of Kang Dynasty.
I mean, you have no other choice.
And they're doing Avengers Doomsday in 2026 and Avengers Secret Wars in 2027. And both of them will be directed once again by the Russo brothers and written by Stephen McFeely, who is one of the writers of both Infinity War and Endgame. And imagine having the last name McFeely in Hollywood. That's all I have to say.
That's, yeah.
It's an unfortunate
His existence is a punchline.
It is.
But yeah, those rumors about the Russo bros coming back were true.
Yep.
I think they prepped him for this. They prepped Robert Downey Jr. because they had to like wean him off of his malnourished vegan diet.
They're like, can you
got
eat
him on the
some-
creatine, the TRT. He's gonna need to beef up before he does this.
Yes.
I mean, I know he's not playing Iron Man anymore, but he was looking sickly for a while there.
Yeah.
I just saw a lot of people having negative reactions to this, saying that this is the worst thing ever, just because it's such a blatantly desperate move. It just reeks of desperation. But when you're desperate, what else are you supposed to do?
Well, you go back to what works, right?
Yeah.
That's the number one thing here. But the thing is, there are endless amount of talented, great actors that you could have gotten for this, but none of them would have gotten the reaction that Robert Downey Jr. did at Comic-Con.
Someone tweeted, the MCU is so dead that they're bringing back the guy who retired as the heartbeat and centerpiece of the franchise for 15 years to play a completely different character in the same universe. Horrible decision. Like, are people even going to be open to seeing him play a villain at this point?
They will.
Is
Look,
that what
it's very comic book-esque to do something like this, and I think
is it going to be addressed?
It'll likely be addressed as a variant.
Like, oh,
so
he looks
they'll
alike.
double down into the multiverse storyline. He'll be an evil Tony Stark variant. And it's going to come down to whether the Russo brothers can find a way to use that direction that they've been so good at for those films and re-inject some interest in the process. But I don't think it's possible, and I'll tell you why. Look, everybody loved Thanos, but the reason why everybody loves Thanos is that Thanos had to go up against great heroes that everybody cared about. Thanos was going up against Tony Stark, he was going up against Captain America, he was going up against Black Widow, the Hulk, Black Panther, all of these characters that had already built up a great following in the MCU, Thor, all these characters that people actually cared about. You wanted to see the good guys defeat the really, really charismatic bad guy. The problem here is like, okay, so you get a really, really charismatic actor like Robert Downey Jr. to come back to play, Dr. Doom. That's great. So do I have to care about him going up against Captain Marvel? Do I have to care about him going up against Shang-Chi? Do I have to care about him going up against the Eternals? Like
the Young Avengers.
The young, like, or I guess, Anthony, like, am I supposed to care about him going up against Falcon? I don't know. And like without character, people loved Falcon. They don't care about him as Captain America. There just isn't that build of great heroes for them to use in this movie. I guess Spider-Man can come back. You can get Tom Holland back for those films, and he might be your anchor. Yeah, they can still use Tom Holland. They'll have to pay out the. I don't know I don't know how many films are left on that deal or whether they're licensing him back out. But they'll have to get him back. My guess would be they will pay an exorbitant amount to make sure that Tom Holland is in those movies because they need their own Tony Stark, and I can't think of another actor that they have to bring back that will elicit the same reaction.
Right.
And without those great heroes that everybody's built up a connection to over 3 phases, it all kind of falls flat and feels like a cheap marketing ploy that will have to be, once again, explained away by the multiverse.
A lot of people are just confused and they're like, what about Iron Man? Why did you do this? We don't want a Tony Stark variant. We just want him to be his original character or nothing. And you're right. It's just not going to translate well because there are no other characters that anyone cares about, because all of the original characters that people cared about were pushed out of the way to highlight.
I guess Deadpool can come back. Like you can bring Deadpool in, but even his sense of humor will not look the same when it's in a PG-13
True. How do you
team
even
up
do
film.
that?
It won't look the same way as it did before. I guess you could, again, Hugh Jackman, you're gonna do this till you're 90.
Yeah.
You can try to get these guys back, but again, they
Well,
had
it's the
50. They
joke
built it
is
up
about
over,
Hugh Jackman, but in reality, it was
RDJ.
about Robert Downey Jr. and there were all these jokes about Deadpool. You know, these breaking the fourth wall jokes about Deadpool saving Marvel and being the Marvel Jesus in this recent one, and now they have shown they actually are looking for Robert Downey Jr. to be Marvel Jesus, and it's not landing.
Yeah. Well, the thought outside of the really, really strong reaction, which by the way, we'll show you guys, there was a lot of videos that came out of Comic-Con that showed this debut. So let's go ahead and watch
He literally
this.
he holds his arms out.
Like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's eliciting the same Tony Stark reaction. No, literally, no way. How are they going to make that? Here's the thing. Like, in Deadpool and Wolverine, there were a lot of cameos. And my point was that some of the movie, as much as I loved the film, it won't hit the same on second viewing because you've watched it. It's kind of in the same way, like a twist in an M. Night Shyamalan movie makes it, less interesting the second time around. When the effect of the cameos have worn off, does the movie have replay value? So this is a great reveal, and it gets a great reaction from people. But once that has worn off, you're going to have to build the character up and give Robert Downey Jr. great material to work with. And look, the guy who wrote Endgame and Infinity War is more than competent, and the Russo brothers are more than competent, but they had 15 years of backstory to build off of. Now we're not exactly restarting, but you've already admitted that Phase 4 was essentially a wash and nobody really cares about it. You've gotten rid of Kang, nobody gives a crap. You've already had Deadpool point out that the multiverse has been a net negative for you. How do you expect to build up the same level of emotional resonance this time around as you did with 15 years of buildup to both Infinity War and Endgame? And I don't think you can.
Not to mention just the fact that all of their movies and TV shows look cheap now. Are you going to improve on all of those aspects?
Yeah.
Like the shitty script writing, the shitty CGI, the shitty costumes.
I mean, I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine looked awful. I thought
I'm not specifically talking about Deadpool
yeah.
and Wolverine, but all of their Phase 4 movies.
And again, if it's going to connect to a bunch of TV shows like the Marvel, the hardcore Marvel fanboys will care. But
that's
once
who
you
was
get
in
to
that
the,
video,
but
right?
once you get to the theaters, the people that went to see Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, some of them might have watched Loki season 2 to understand the TVA, but the vast majority, I would guess, once you're getting to the $450 million mark, is that a lot of them were normies who saw Deadpool 1 and 2, like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, loved the X-Men movies, but maybe aren't watching all the Disney Plus shows. That's an audience that you need to find and bring back. And I just don't think, I think the lack of new heroes is a bigger problem than finding a solution that is a great possible villain in Robert Downey Jr. Not to mention, it does feel weird to have them take the guy who was the heart of the first 3 phases and then turn him into a bad guy. I don't know if they're going to make him a variant. Is he going to be an evil Tony Stark variant? Is it just going to be a different character? The general confusion that people are feeling right now is a hurdle that they're going to have to address.
On another note, I know that Robert Downey Jr. has kind of a sketchy past with being difficult to work with. He had a lot of issues, behavioral issues.
Before Marvel, but yeah.
Yeah, but has he straightened out all the way?
Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Is he going to be reliable since they just had this nightmare happen with Jonathan Majors? They're probably trying to be careful about
It was a gamble.
staking their whole reputation on one person.
It was a gamble when they hired him in 2008. I don't think you would see it. First of all, okay, so you hire...
Also, does it even make sense to hire him for this role when he's 60?
I'm literally picturing them backing up a gigantic money truck
Like,
to
how
his
much
house.
money did they actually have to offer
Like, it's a
him to make him do
gigantic
this?
semi of money that they just dumped into his house.
Yeah.
But okay, so in 2008, when you hire him, he's got the bad boy reputation. He's gone to jail. He's been in court, all this stuff. Fine. It's a bit of a gamble. But what they took the gamble on that time is this dude's, charisma going to outweigh the possibility of, him being a problem down the line. Now, they don't know at that time that the MCU is going to become as big as it did. So it probably didn't feel like as much of a gamble, but it was a gamble. Now, in 2024, Jonathan Majors doesn't have the same, he didn't have the same cachet that he did, right? So that wasn't necessarily the same type of gamble. I mean, you've got 15 years with Robert Downey Jr. now being, he's been a spokesperson for Marvel. He does a lot of outreach. He goes to visit, he goes and sees like sick kids in hospitals and stuff like that. I think there's more than enough evidence now that he's turned his life around that it wouldn't be seen as the same risk as somebody who had just recently, gotten over a bunch of bad behavior. How long do you wait until you assume that they've corrected their life?
So now he is replacing Kang as the big bad, but they didn't want to recast Kang with Robert Downey Jr.
Yes, though they could have.
They could have done that.
As Tropic Thunder tells you, they could have done that.
Yeah.
The dude playing the dude playing another dude.
Allow him to do it.
Look, it's honestly, the funny thing is it was making those memes real where they take his character from Tropic Thunder and they put him on Black Panther's body. And they say there's only one way to save the MCU.
Yes.
It's basically the truth here. I think that there will be some nostalgia for this, and I think at the very least it will do good numbers. I don't think that they will do. I don't think you can recapture the magic that 15 years of well-received movies got you leading up to Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War. Not to mention that the theater-going experience in general just isn't the same as it was back then.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. And look, I was wrong about Deadpool and Wolverine. I think when I initially made predictions, I didn't think it would make $1 billion based solely on the fact that neither of the first two Deadpool ones did. And the second one made a tiny bit less than the first one. I guess I should have incorporated the fact that Wolverine was part of that story into estimates, which is why I'm loath to make predictions on movies and stuff anyways. I think it will make $1 billion and it will make it very, very easily.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see. But look, Marvel and Disney as a whole seem to have had a couple of hits so far this year, and there's all the entire possibility that they will learn all the wrong lessons from making movies that people actually enjoy.
I think anyone who's saying that this is going to save the MCU is coping.
No, you would have to, the entire production process needs an overhaul, and they need to restart if they're going to actually save the MCU.
All right, let's read some super chats. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. Props to Alex Stein for sharing my Cast Brew ad this morning. 8K in 30 minutes. So when is Brett buying the icy cereal?"
I don't know what that is.
There's a new icy flavored cereal. Is this real?
I don't know what that is.
Well, you know it's what an icy is.
Yes. I don't know what icy cereal is, though.
It's icy flavored cereal.
I did eat
it has cherry and blue raspberry.
What company? What cereal brand?
I'm trying to figure that out, but I think it might just be...
Is it the Trix ones? Because I did eat those.
It's Kellogg's.
Okay, is it Trix?
No, it's not the same thing.
It's just called Icy?
It's Kellogg's Icy cereal, inspired by Icy's cherry and blue raspberry flavors.
Yeah, I'd probably eat it.
It utilizes an innovative ingredient that...
It's going to give you cancer, and Alex Clark is going to have a fit if I say I'm going to eat it.
This is crazy. I think they put menthol in it. It says it has an innovative ingredient that cools your mouth as you eat it.
Why do you need that?
Imitating that familiar and refreshing first sip of an icy. It's the company's first summertime cereal to feature this cooling sensation. It has a sweet, cool feeling, leaving you craving more and transforming milk into a tasty, slurp-worthy treat.
Okay.
That's Isn't that just menthol?
Between that and like the fact that they make like Starburst flavored cotton candy now and Skittles water and all this stuff, I've kind of come to the conclusion that like sweet flavored candy rather than, you know, like chocolate instead. Like if you're going to get like Skittles and all of these things that are being turned into like drinks and stuff, that's the stuff that's actually really bad for you, and that chocolate is just less evil.
I'm looking at the reviews right now. One person said, I took one bite and it was tasty for 0.2 seconds before it tasted like Vicks Vapor Rub. It's truly the most disgusting I've ever had. This has to be a joke because it's awful.
I'm not trying that.
Vicks Vapor Rub cereal is coming next, I'm
Let's
sure.
go.
Yikes. But thank you for telling us about that. Potatoes for Seamus said, Baba Booey. Happy Tuesday, Baba Booey. It's not Tuesday. Stop gaslighting. No one believes you.
I don't like it when they do that.
Fresh Meat 999 said, okay, hear me out. Subvert expectations and cast Jim Carrey as James Bond. What do you think?
I mean, I would love it, and then they have him do a bad British accent, but that's already been done. It was Michael Myers, and they did Austin Powers years ago. So maybe you have Jim Carrey do the new... when are they going to bring that character back? I wonder if that's a character, Austin Powers. I wonder if they ever remake Austin Powers with a different actor.
No. Because I was just listening to a podcast where they were talking about the origin story of how he created the character. And his parents actually, like, he grew up in Canada, but I think his dad was British.
Okay.
And like he was going through his dad's old stuff and like found one of the, what is it called? A cravat?
Yeah.
He found one of those things. And that's how he created the character, and it's like inspired in part by his dad. And it's just like sweet, and it needs to only happen one time and no more. I think that archetype, like the Austin Powers archetype, is dead.
Okay.
Because he's like perverted, but everyone loves him, and women think that he's so awesome and funny.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like there's no harmless perverted men anymore.
You're not allowed to tell that story anymore.
You're not allowed to tell that story. Yeah. It's just not going to happen.
Let's do one more.
Lamppost said beaucoup means many in French.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
The next one, Pop Culture Junkie says that as well.
Well, I didn't know that you could
just
use it saying buku bucks.
It's just a phrase I heard. So, all right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Time to talk about the continuing saga going on with Ava, Kris, Tyson, and MrBeast.
Yes, the controversy surrounding MrBeast and his former employee, Kris Tyson, is just getting more and more intense. He's now facing new allegations from multiple people after one of the accusers named Nate posted Discord leaks from years back, which show MrBeast was in these conversations with minors in their Discord server where they were talking about sexual topics, making sexual jokes. And MrBeast, you know, in his recent statement, denied that he was aware of the full scope of what, you know, Ava, Kris Tyson has done. However, the Discord leaks show that he actually was fully aware that he had these inappropriate friendships with minor fans. And I don't know how he's going to weasel his way out of this one. We'll get to that later, though. But yeah, in Discord leaks, you can see a screenshot where MrBeast allegedly is complimenting Kris Tyson's D size in the server with minors. You can see in the screenshots. We're not going to go into all the detail because I don't even want to be clipped reading what they talked about. But the original alleged victim of Kris Tyson, you'll recall, tried to defend him and say that he wasn't guilty of grooming or anything like that, and that they just had a weird friendship where they made a lot of innuendo jokes, but that ultimately he didn't think Kris Tyson was a predator or did anything seriously wrong.
Yeah.
That person has since recanted that statement and come forward after reading the Discord leaks saying that he was wrong. Yep. Here's what Lava tweeted. Based on the recent screenshots and messages, I would like to say a statement about the Discord. This was 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought I had a good memory of the situation, but I was wrong. After reading the chat logs, this stuff was inappropriate and wrong. I spoke based on my memory of the situation, and I still do not remember these conversations, but they definitely happened.
Before you go, like, that's one of the things that's going to start happening more.
Yeah.
Like what's crazy is like memories aren't as good as you think they are, right? And the world now is basically in transcript. So everything that you do these days, depending on how online you are, is something that will be reviewed back to you, and you're like, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah, but I think he shouldn't have made a statement if he didn't know that his memory was reliable, and the way that he remembered it all was his own interpretation of it from when he was 13 to 15 years old.
That's everybody's, and I think that it's going to be like, it would actually be detrimental to society for imagine everybody no longer trusting anything that they say or do, or like any of their memories, because they know that the official record is out there. I mean, this is something that I worry about all the time. I'm like, I think about like, how much do I actually remember about things that I say? And I contend in a lot of ways that being unsure is probably not healthy, but it's how I am.
It's like, good to err on the side of not being in private forums of discussion with minors.
Well, yeah, but I'm
regardless of whether any innuendo is
talking about this. I'm saying just in general. But yeah, anything that comes up in your life now, whether it's on
people
Discord
have
or
receipts
any of these,
for everything, and like you're gonna get corrected if you have a different interpretation than someone else.
But then people are going to say you're lying, and maybe you're not even lying. Maybe you just misremembered
why were you covering for him when it wasn't even intentional on his part? I don't think he was trying to defend him.
No, he wasn't.
He was just misremembering because this happened when he was a child. He continued saying, I spoke based on my memory of the situation. These conversations should not have happened with people at the age I was at the time. I strongly condemn them. I still believe I am not a grooming victim, but these conversations should not have happened with me and any other minor in this Discord. I was a minor in this situation and not the adult influencer who shouldn't have allowed this to happen. I did not see this as wrong at the time. This is only related to the Discord server, not any other statements I've already made about Ava Tyson. But yeah, the fact that MrBeast was in that Discord server and then in his public statement totally denies that he was aware of what was going on is insane, but he's just probably not going to be held accountable for it. In addition to that, Ava Tyson has also been hit with another allegation that was more serious. It was an allegation of SA by a former employee, someone who worked as an assistant for him for a long time, including as recently as Easter of this year.
Yes.
I read through this thread just so you guys don't have to. I don't think it's credible. I don't think the accusations are credible. It sounds like somebody who was maybe consciously or not consciously giving sexual favors for career opportunities, and it didn't work out for that person. So regardless of any of that, people are just going to see a headline that says like, Ava Kris Tyson hit with new allegations.
And this will continue on.
And it just keeps on spiraling further and further. And I say that not to defend Kris Tyson in any way. I'm just saying that I read the whole thing, and I don't think that that person putting forth that accusation is a reliable narrator of the events.
I think the phrase used was one-sided sexual acts.
Right. Like, we're not going to get into the graphic details, but it just sounded like someone who had an unsatisfying experience, and now they no longer work for the company. But,
I did notice, like, this could be completely an aside, but I usually see like a MrBeast ad at the top of my Roku. You know,
oh, really?
We were talking on Friday
for the Amazon show.
We were talking on Friday about the calming effect of the Roku City screen.
Yeah,
which I agree, it is unbelievably calming. And normally I see a MrBeast ad there that I did not see this weekend. I don't know if that was by maybe just changed.
Well, he's currently trying to cleanse his public image. One part of that was that he had to delete a hot dog that was under Kris Tyson's name on the Feastables website, or for the MrBeast burger restaurant items. It was called Chris's Kitty Dog. I'm not even kidding. That's the actual name of the hot dog.
It says discontinued. Sorry.
It was a beef wiener with Kris's signature sauce. That's the description of the kitty dog.
Okay, yeah.
That's just so prophetic almost. But anyway, the last thing was an alleged statement from Kris Tyson's sister. Now, we don't know for sure whether this was verifiably who she claimed to be, but let's just read that tweet. She said, "I'm his sibling. He, and yes, I use the correct pronoun, told me that he got fully aroused when he secretly stole my female clothes and put them on. He's deluded and disturbed, and it's 100% a fetish. He is narcissistic, and professionals have told him he needs a full psych eval." Now, I went to the account. It is ST West 3. I went to the account and it was private and has the same profile picture as before, and you can see it in the screenshot. I wasn't able to tell if this is like verifiably Kris Tyson's sister or not, but people were saying it's not. I saw one reply say this is Sarah Elizabeth Tyson Westbrook, which would stand for the STW in her username. Kris's sister is Sarah Elizabeth Tyson Westbrook and was in multiple MrBeast videos. Could easily be a fake account, but since it's private and the profile picture is nowhere to be found, it's clear it's her.
It does seem weird that a person with a private account would make such a public statement.
Yeah, let me just check
Also,
one more time
I mean,
if it's up, because I can see right now it's STW, ST West 3, and I looked at the bio and it says, "Jesus saves, go follow him. I'm not going to accept your follow request."
I think the most important thing you can learn from all this is just the amount of secondhand, hearsay that's going to come out about any story like this. And what we found is that the truth gets muddled very, very quickly. As soon as something verifiable comes out, 10,000 impossible to prove things come out, and then everything gets watered down, and it actually takes away from the seriousness of these stories because people just throw their hands up and say, I don't know what's the truth.
Sure.
I don't know what to believe.
Well, there is one clip from an interview with Kris Tyson post transition that could corroborate the claim that allegedly his sister made in that tweet about dressing up in her clothes.
This one?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
I was 6 years old. My sisters went to camp. My parents were in the living room. I told my parents that, well, all churches are religious, but this one was extra religious. Super religious.
Okay.
Yeah, so that seems to corroborate the claim, and it's a common thing that people talk about with how they realized eventually that they identified as trans. Very disturbing if the claims in that tweet are true. But I doubt that if that is his sister, that she wants to be dragged into this public.
Well, then,
beef.
I mean, that's a problem then, because then why, voicing the story and then expecting people to leave you alone is insane.
But she's not really a public figure, so she probably just didn't know that it was going to catch fire and then put her account on private. I'm saying if that is the real person that she claims to be.
Did the story to you just sound like there were too many specific details? Like remembering the Arthur episode, I don't know. Like it just
like in the interview.
In the interview, it sounded made up to me.
I don't know. I know that he talked about another instance where he was still cross-dressing as an adult, and actually when he was roommates with MrBeast, and that Jimmy walked in on him while this was happening, and he said that Jimmy was like, "Hey, do you want to talk about anything?"
Yeah.
And that Kris said no. And then Jimmy just was like, "Okay," slowly closes the door.
Maybe it's more that
so I think he probably saw something.
Maybe it's
coming,
my bad memory. Maybe it's because I have such a bad memory. But just those specific details, even for a formative event at the age of 6, just seems over the top to me. But I could be wrong.
Perhaps it's not, a reliable story, and it's really just, lending credibility to his new identity.
In 20 years, when these stories come out from the next generation of kids, they'll have chat logs from when they experienced these things, because everything will have receipts to it. So, but the big story here, beyond all the things coming out about Ava Kris Tyson, is the fact that MrBeast is going through his own reckoning in other things, not just this story.
Right. So MrBeast struck a deal with Amazon where they were going to host a game show, sort of like Squid Game, but MrBeast. And now that they're in the process of filming that show in Vegas, some contestants are coming forward to say that there are dangerous conditions on set, that their safety is not being regarded. They're saying they're being denied medication, denied water, denied food, and that there are multiple medical emergencies happening in the process of filming this show, which, if anything, seems like a guerrilla marketing campaign for the show, and also to get eyes off of the Ava Kris Tyson controversy, finally.
The first thing I thought of when I saw all these stories come out is that the best thing that could happen to MrBeast right now is some type of controversy, even if it makes him look bad, that's related to literally anything other than the harming of children.
Yeah, so I went to a local publication from Las Vegas saying, it's not supposed to be public that they're filming it there, but there was an ad put out for contestants saying, come test out physical challenges inside Allegiant Stadium. Incentive, get $150 cash the same day you participate. And it's challenges for what they call in the ad the biggest streaming network, and you have to apply online. I saw that ad, so it's probably in Vegas. And then they asked a MrBeast representative if all of the claims of dangerous conditions are true. Here is what they said. MrBeast was working on an upcoming video with 3 medical issues out of 2,000 participants. 2 were medical events unrelated to the games or production, and 1 involved dehydration. There was plenty of water and drinks on site and full medical staff. Personnel attended to the people immediately. They were all released shortly after and are doing well. But they asked a local hospital employee what happened and asked if there were some of the contestants showing up in the ER. And they said, I'm aware of 3 or 4 hospital evacs today. Overnight shift said it was insane. The production is a shit show and unprepared for the scale, making decisions as they go along. The bare bones medic staff on site is not adequate, and we were overwhelmed last night and because they compete at night.
Again, these are allegations that destroy no one's career in this industry.
Right.
None of this destroys anyone's career. It only
makes it seem like he's really committed to making the show real.
So I was just curious, if you type MrBeast now, he's not completely getting away from this. This is what you see when you look up MrBeast now. So we've got MrBeast's past raunchy videos surface, sparking sexist and racist accusations. MrBeast employee debunks fraud video by former worker. MrBeast branded a fraud by purported ex-employee accusing him of hosting, quote, illegal lotteries. So it gets into there's a subset down here about Ava Kris Tyson.
Yeah.
But a lot of this has to do with stuff other than that now. If these stories weren't happening, it would be about nothing but the Ava Kris Tyson situation.
Yeah, what I suspect the MrBeast PR team is doing right now is just having other controversies fall on the media like snow.
Look at this one. MrBeast.
Just see what will stick.
MrBeast fakes his videos. Recent allegations against the YouTuber explored. That is exactly the headline he wants.
And it says so much about the way that public relations works these days. You don't drop positive stories to get out of a controversy.
Nobody cares about those.
Less significant negative stories.
Nobody cares about positive stories. They die in the vine. They're gone as quickly as they come. But negative stories, it's just, what type of negative story are you looking for?
Just make the dog pile so big that people don't know where to target you. But another one of the game show contestants reported that contestants were instructed to provide producers with 5 days worth of their medications. And as of today, contestants have not received a single dose. They've denied food to diabetics, denied contestants water, and at least 2 individuals have had seizures as a result. But the MrBeast representative says that all of that information is incorrect and inaccurate. I don't really know if any of this is real or if it's a planted story to distract people from the grooming allegations and all of the sexual assault stuff. You just don't even want your name,
you know what it does?
Mentioned near words like that.
People are kind of crazy. People hear that story like, I gotta watch now. Like they hear that stuff and they're like, I gotta watch now. That's crazy.
So one of the people speaking out about the Beast Games show is Rosanna Pansino, who is sour grapes.
That's what we call her, sour grapes.
She lost one of MrBeast's Squid Game videos, and she felt like she was treated unfairly.
And like all women, she just has an elephant memory that goes on forever and no ability to forgive and forget.
Right, so she's using the fact that everyone is dogpiling MrBeast right now to post this
glory.
TikTok. We're not going to watch the whole thing because it's
the 5-minute one.
A whole 5 minutes of her ranting about this. But
for a video because I have received messages from over a dozen people involved with the current Beast Games. For those of you who don't know, Beast Games is a competition show ran by MrBeast that will be on Amazon Prime. It is being marketed as the biggest competition show ever. I'll talk more about that later.
I can't wait.
Messages. So the messages that I have received from contestants on the show are pretty much all telling a similar story, and I find them to be very disturbing. Some of the messages are from people.
She can like barely hide her glee.
The messages are very disturbing.
Like she's literally almost smiling. She's got like a half smile on her face. Anybody ever watch the show Lie to Me? With Tim Roth.
Never seen that.
It's about a guy who's an expert in discerning facial expressions and micro expressions.
Okay.
And the furtive smile is right there, and you know, it's right there.
Competed and they've been eliminated. Some of the messages are from people who are still competing, and some of them are from people that I personally know who are involved on the show and still doing so. These people are genuinely upset about how things are going. They're scared for not only their own safety, but the safety of their friends who are still competing.
We used to go to war, as you said, Mary.
And now we
complain about game show
we play
contests.
Squid Game in a stadium in Las Vegas for free money.
More or just is that enough? How much does she get to any
She gets to the
interesting
messages that they sent
They
her.
aren't doing this out of spite. They're doing this because they are afraid for themselves and for their friends. As of right now, I have 10 stories from 10 different people, and none of them have shared their stories with each other, and I will be talking more about them in the future. I have personally worked in entertainment and on sets for almost 2 decades, and what is going on here is beyond disgusting and extremely dangerous. I wanted to read you one of the messages with the permission of one of the contestants to give you an idea of why I'm so upset and why I simply just can't let this go. It's absolutely not okay. So I'm going to read to you her message. I was a contestant until the end. I also didn't accept their hush money. It was really bad. People were having seizures because they were not getting medication, even though we were promised we would. And it was 100% rigged. They presented it as though the game would be like Squid Games, basically a type of game show where all the games are an even playing field. That was not at all the case. All the games were about speed and strength, so only the young athletic males were at an advantage over the women and elderly people.
Wait. I've been reliably told that there's no difference between men and women, so how is
she making a transphobic remark right now?
Shocking.
We're also
I'm
casted.
appalled.
To make things worse, men started realizing that they could take out the women without being eliminated. Guys started tackling.
That's crazy.
So they were using game strategy?
Hitting women. 2 girls were tackled and passed out on the field and were dragged off to continue filming.
Dragged off by their
people with broken
ankles?
bones,
What?
stitches, etc. And most were women. We were given maybe 400 calories a meal, and only fed every 12 hours.
Wait. So they were like, did you get like a notice with like your calorie count on there?
This part is crazy.
Food would run out, and people would
Lord of the Flies.
steal, and hoard food. Water was scarce and kept running out as well. I had to sit with a bloody pad for 2 days before I could get undergarments and my reusable pads because I'm allergic to regular pads.
Why the heck are you doing a game show on your period that involves fighting people physically?
Maybe this was actually a thing where MrBeast exposes communism, and it was actually like a way of explaining what's going to happen.
Yeah,
when
it's all a big social experiment.
Yeah.
We're also sleep deprived, only allowed 3 to 4 hours. We all slept on the floor.
That's the
in
point.
The stadium in a $10.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Pad.
This is the guy who locks people into isolation chambers for as long as they're willing to psychologically tolerate it. The whole point is that you're going through something torturous, both physically and mentally, for his money and for the sake of entertainment. How did you not know that going in? You can also opt out whenever you want. It just means that you're not going to get paid $150 for the day, right?
I love it. I love the fact that she does not understand that exactly what happened is exactly what was supposed to happen.
And then another alleged contestant spoke out in a TikTok claiming there were unfair teams and contestants were depressed after they left. They were getting depression from it.
We can't even fake struggle anymore in this country.
She said, MrBeast is a monster and he just wants to psychologically disturb people.
Even manufactured struggle in this country fails.
Do you have the TikTok from that lady?
Yep. Here we go.
I have no idea if this is a real contestant, but oh my gosh.
400 people the first day. Those 400 people, the majority of them were forced by the other team members to be on the specific team they were. Some were just about like physically like assaulted to be put onto one team, which ended up making it like the weakest team since it was a lot of like elderly people, petite women, and people that just, I mean, they weren't willing to take on 6 guys that were surrounding.
You wouldn't have survived in my dodgeball games in school, that's for sure.
And I'm trying to take their vest so that they can actually be on that. Of the 400 people that left, the majority of them, I'd say at least half, are all extremely depressed. I don't know if I can say extremely, but I definitely know that they are depressed. As far as I've heard from so many people that I've talked to personally, as well as people that I've spoken to that are employed by other organizations that are around like the games right now, a lot of people have come up and expressed that they are really not doing okay. It was so much work and exhausting to just get to that point to even be in the games, and then to be kicked out, and you kind of get ostracized. The staff, like, they become really cold towards you once you're actually kicked out. MrBeast does not talk to everybody, all his fans or anything. And
you think he should talk to all 2,000 contestants who showed up there to get paid by him?
Keep giving updates on this, but like MrBeast is a monster, and the games that he does are really cruel and sick. They actually had called a one kind staff member of the only three kind staff members that I came across that were like really concerned about the well-being of all the people that were so distraught, had actually come to me and asked me if I was okay, and I told them I wasn't. I told them that I wanted to die.
Okay, I don't even.
Adults, I know you can fix this. No women in these games.
Adults just want to be babysat these days. It's crazy.
No women in these games. Make it men only. Just on the PR level. Men are less likely to complain because they'll be ostracized for doing so.
I think this woman is just mentally unstable because in the second part of this video, she said, I was prepared and willing to myself. She claims she had suicidal ideation, and the MrBeast team had to get her a psychologist to talk with her while on set. Why? Just leave. You don't have to be there. Just leave.
I'm telling you, the only way to solve this problem. You know we talked about the joke was that MrBeast will only fix homes in other countries because the bureaucracy of America would just make it ineffective to do altruism here, right? Mm-hmm. Just no women in these games. I'm sorry. No women. Men only. They will be made fun of for complaining, so you can only hire men for these types of games.
perhaps MrBeast paid Rosanna Panzino to make that video so that she could change the narrative around him. So here's what's happening. The MrBeast PR team is freaking out because of the allegations against Kris Tyson. Their response was to direct media coverage over to the drama surrounding MrBeast's Amazon game show. And all of that drama is completely made up out of thin air.
Yep.
It's insane.
He's like, maybe he's like, that Pansino lady hates me. Maybe I can get her to
This
make
is a
some
paid
videos
post.
about me. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm telling you right now, though, either or do men's games only and women's games only so that they can't claim that it's sexism.
You know, that's not how Squid Game works.
No, they're gonna have to. We don't live in a real Squid Game era, and these people they can't even deal with fake strife.
They're definitely going to do a class action lawsuit after this and lose.
All right, let's move on. Let's do some super chats.
Pop culture junkie. Oh no, Shane H. Wilder said, "Why is fur curious a thing? No, I don't like it." It's like you're in your between stage. You might have been a furry in college.
Yeah, you're
when you were drinking.
Yeah,
you know, stuff like that. Corey Anderson said, "Tillamook ice cream and frozen pizzas are fire." Thanks for letting us know.
Thank you.
Corey Anderson. Oh, no, that was Shane H. Wilder. Corey Anderson said, "Happy Monday. Here's to a great show."
Thank you.
And he also said Comic-Con is dead now that Twilight is over.
Yeah.
Why would Twilight be featured at Comic-Con?
I mean,
Is it just because it's like fantasy?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just comics and stuff there now. I mean, it's all sorts of television and movies that have nothing to do with comics are featured there.
Hiroshima Otaru said Tillamook is pronounced like Tillamuck.
Yep.
Is it muck?
Muck.
Okay, I didn't know. Shane H. Wilder said, "I think Mary screwed up my algorithm because I've seen every cringe the day before y'all show them for the past month. This was a especially bad one."
Yeah. Yep.
I'm glad that you're not re-downloading Twitter on your phone.
No, I have it. I didn't use it. I didn't use it that much I didn't use it that way. What I did is I moved it to an alternate screen on my phone, so it's harder to get to. And in general, I've been very active lately, and I'm skating a lot, and I'm getting a lot of exercise, and maybe I'm just going through a good phase right now, but if I notice it starting to affect me again and bother me, I'll get rid of it. But yeah, it's not, I didn't see anything over the weekend that left me full of rage or annoyed or angry. Perhaps if I had seen all this stuff, I would have, but you know, it tends to not be videos that end up annoying me. It tends to be like threads.
Snarky threads.
Snarky threads. I hate snark. All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's come back after the fact. Time to talk about Elon.
Yeah, Elon's personal life has no shortage of baby mama drama and other controversies. And just last week, we were talking about his interview with Jordan Peterson, where he was talking about his child who identifies as trans and how he feels about that relationship being destroyed by the woke mind virus. But what's going on right now is yet another controversy in which Elon is currently being accused of withholding his children from their mother, Grimes. Grimes is a pop star, in case anyone wasn't aware.
Mary says to me that she thinks most people know who Grimes is.
I think we've talked about her so much on the show.
On our show they do, but I'm saying if we got Aldo back and we sent him out man on the street and we said, "Who is Grimes?" I would guess that 80% of people would have no clue who she is.
Here would be different than LA. He lives in LA. He probably thinks everybody knows who Grimes is. But yeah, Grimes is a musician and she is one of Elon's many baby mamas. Currently, Grimes' mother, meaning I guess in a certain sense Elon's mother-in-law, is accusing Elon of withholding their children from seeing her and basically accusing him of kidnapping their children. Including the most publicly well-known child, Archangel. I don't know how exactly you're supposed to pronounce it because it's a bunch of numbers and symbols that I don't understand, but it's Archangel, who is about 3 years old, maybe.
There's a 20 there.
Incompetent Hands said, "I spent good money to have Mary watch Firefly. I'm sure Mary just wasn't hydrated, and I bet she forgives herself. It's only 11 more episodes. Also, Frank from Quite Frankly did a podcast on HOA horror stories on, what was this? July 12th.
There you go.
Wait, how many episodes are in the season?
12.
Okay, so I've definitely gotten through 4.
Yeah.
4 episodes of that season. So I have still a lot to go.
It could be 12 or 13. It's in that range.
Yeah. No, that mission is not finished yet. Yeah. So Grimes' mother posted this thread on Twitter. Her name is Sandy Garasino. Here's what she said. Dear Elon, it was nice seeing you on Father's Day. I hope you got the card that I helped X make. He was so proud of it. I'm writing here as the only way I have to reach you. As you know, my 93-year-old mother is now at end-of-life palliative care. She yearns to see and hold Claire's children one last time. Grimes' real name is Claire, by the way. Especially the youngest, whom she has not met yet. She was thrilled for the kids' planned visit to celebrate her birthday this weekend, but those hopes were crushed when the trip was canceled. I'm alarmed to learn that the children cannot come as you are withholding them and their needed passport documents from Claire. It was even more troubling to see you and X on television at the Olympics in Paris yesterday after your DC trip earlier in the week. Where are the other children and with whom? They are scheduled to be with their mother. They were expected here in Canada. I write with a grandmother's plea asking you to honor your agreement, return the children, and provide the documents they need to see their great-grandmother before she passes. Some moments in life last forever, and we get no second chances. Family is priceless. Please, Elon, I beg you, this is so painful for my mother and concerning for the kids. Time is of the essence now.
Do you think that this is a very, very targeted story, given that his most recent big story had to do with his children anyways?
His relationship with all of his children. Yeah, definitely weird timing for this to come up right now. And also for this to happen on a public platform, although she claims it's her only option is using X to contact him. That's really bizarre. That would probably mean that Grimes herself doesn't have contact with Elon, which is insane. And realistically, the kids that are not in the public eye, who no one knows where they are probably under the care of like random nannies who are traveling with Elon on private jets to Paris and all across the world, wherever he wants to go. And while on time that, so she claims, they're scheduled to be with their mother.
It's crazy because he has like a bunch of stories that are out right now concerning, like, he posted like a parody ad of Kamala Harris, and they were labeling it. He posts a deep fake video as if he was trying to mislead people, even though it was a parody video very clearly. Also, he called out the Google censorship of the Trump assassination stuff and everything. And I think the point is to push a story like this there that allows them to make him look even worse.
I think Gavin Newsom tweeted that he's gonna like make deep fakes illegal in California or something.
Literally, it's labeled
I don't know
parody.
how that's even enforceable, but yeah, he has his name in the news for a lot of different reasons right now, and none of them make him look good. Especially, it's a bad look if people are assuming you just are, you know, trotting out your toddler to seem like a really good, involved parent, when the reality could be behind the scenes that you're doing that against the wishes and against the wishes of the mother and against the law, which requires you to return your child to the co-parent. And I think this is also just a messy situation that arises when you have like 12 billion baby mamas.
It's just a scheduling issue. It's literally a mix up in the schedule.
Perhaps it's all just a big misunderstanding, but that would be a better story than him intentionally doing this. Yeah. And then of course, Elon's child from his marriage with Justine Musk, his first wife, Vivian, the one who identifies as trans, decided to make a public statement about this to make Elon look bad. Vivian threaded on threads.net.
Threaded because you can't use X because Elon owns X.
Hello, everyone. I'm foregoing my standard tone because this is important. As you may or may not know, Grimes is currently in a custody battle with Elon over their 3 children. What you probably don't know is that Elon has been illegally and continuously keeping her children, away from their mother during the most important developmental period in a child's life. While Elon has been irresponsibly partying across the ocean in the very country he's spitting contemptuous poison about, Grimes' children are stuck in a house thousands of miles away without their mother. This is potentially irreversibly damaging to a child's psyche and is without question a despicable form of abuse. This is not the first time this has happened, and if nothing changes, likely not the last. I've only been able to catch glimpses of this from behind the scenes, and it's been both horrifying and enraging that no one has been able to do anything about it. I can't stress this enough. This is illegal. He does not have the custody to be able to do this. Yet, since Elon has an infinite amount of funds to pull from, he has been able to successfully employ them to take their children away from the mother that they desperately require. This needs to end now. X has been paraded around social media solely for the purpose of boosting his own brand image of responsible father, when that could not be further from the truth. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he is both uncaring and absent while robbing their children of a mother. Please do not let this continue. Thank you.
Wouldn't going to the authorities first have been the way to go for the...
Since it's illegal.
Yes.
I'm sure they've tried that. I don't know if he's just behaving like he's above the law or if he even is breaking the law. We're just going off of the word of the family member. We have no idea what's really going on.
Correct.
But it does seem like he's trying to project this image of being more involved with his children than he really is. There is no possible way you can have like 20 kids that are all very young, from all different mothers who live in all different places while running huge companies and also tweeting constantly. Like, there's just no way that you can do all of those things at once excellently. And he is kind of trotting out X in particular for the cameras in a way that makes him seem like this great dad. When you can see he has a terrible relationship with at least one of his children.
I mean, maybe the idea is that he's learning from his mistakes and is now trying to be more involved in his children's life because of what happens when you aren't.
Right. But then he claimed that he wasn't an absent father to his child, who now goes by Vivian.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder how much of Elon's tweets are even like, at this point, I wonder if he just had somebody write an algorithm that tweets for him.
Honestly, I wouldn't doubt it. People thought they found his alt account that's like an anonymous username, because he goes into this account goes into Twitter Spaces or X Spaces. He sounds exactly like Elon, seems to have all the same opinions as Elon, and posts constantly glazing Elon.
That's the best part. That's the best part. Is
and it's like
there just to make Elon.
He still claims he's not Elon.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't find it super hard to believe that either he has someone posing as him, or he has an algorithm posing as him, or he has plenty of alt accounts that he uses anonymously.
Look, the news is constantly like, it's just really funny. Okay, so we're in an election year. And the lie is that the Republicans are the party of the rich and the famous, or the rich and the powerful. But right now, all the billionaires and stuff like that are backing Kamala Harris. And Elon Musk is being dragged right now for being the lone billionaire, it seems, who gets a lot of attention. So the media has an interest in denigrating him and making him look bad and doing everything in their power to put this guy down. So
there are other billionaires.
None that are as front-facing and as news involved, right? None that are getting the attention that Elon gets. And when it comes down to it, I think a lot of it is optics, and perhaps what he's doing right now. Like, we can't know whether this is legal or whether this is even happening, whether he's breaking any laws. But if he's trying to repair his image in some way, that could be what's happening here. But certainly the news goes out of its way to make sure that he looks like the bad guy in any headline that you look at about him.
I can ascertain that what the thought process would be. Like, I did this interview with Jordan Peterson where I talked about my child identifying as trans. Now there's this media firestorm that is calling me a terrible father because I didn't accept my child's identity. So I'm going to take one of my younger children into a public place and take a bunch of sweet pictures with him so that everybody's going to be like, oh, he's actually a good dad. Like, I can see what the thought process would be if that's what's going on.
Not even just the optics, but like if you were to give the dude the benefit of the doubt, and again, I'm not saying that that's what you do here, that he's trying to go out and do things with his kids when he can find the time, and certainly the Olympics are a big splashy event in which you can go and do that.
Yeah.
The best outcome for him would be that he actually spends time with his kids and it gets him positive publicity. Though I don't think that he's going to get the positive publicity because they don't care.
But this isn't even the most damning allegation that is being targeted at Elon right now. I've seen rumors circulating online that Elon Musk is a closeted furry, and that he actually attempted to infiltrate the furry community years back and was rejected by them. So now he is still, to this day, secretly, in his soul, a furry.
Well, what the hell happened to inclusivity?
So this ex account, Fiona, posted a picture of Elon and asked, where do you think his downfall started? Just to say that Elon had a downfall is crazy. I don't think anyone could argue that he had a downfall.
What they mean by that is why is he no longer a liberal darling?
Sure.
Like all the other billionaires that they claim they hate.
Which I don't think he ever was.
Yes.
But this response...
He was like, he didn't vote for Trump, and he was open about not voting for Trump in past elections. But ever since, well before he bought X, he was already disliked by the media.
Sure. So this particular response got 4.2 million views and counting as we speak. When he failed to worm his way into the Bay Area baby fur community in 2009, parentheses, true story. And this person elaborated.
We cannot confirm whether any of this is true. This is all rumor, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. We'll get into what is being purported as evidence. But this person elaborated saying, I've had enough different people from there tell me the story that it has to be true.
Oh, of course.
But obviously everyone in that sector is very hush-hush and private about stuff. So I only know the gist of what happened. I think it's true that like San Francisco tech people have very strange sexual proclivities. That's not hard to believe at all. But I actually was not aware that there was a difference between a furry and a baby fur. So we're all in a learning moment right now, and I'm going to explain what a baby fur is and why there even would be a baby fur community in the Bay Area, the baby fur area. A baby fur is a member of the furry subculture who enjoys role-playing as a younger character, typically an anthropomorphic animal at a baby or toddler age. This is already looking PDF file-y. This includes characteristics such as human-like features, behavior, and sometimes even fursuiting. The key aspects: role-playing as a baby or toddler animal with human-like features. This may involve infantilist themes such as regression or caretaking. It can include fursuiting, part of the broader furry fandom, and the term fur baby is sometimes used to refer to a beloved pet, but in this concept of baby fur, it's in the furry subculture. And that seems to be sexual in nature. I don't know if there are any furries in the chat who can clear this up for us.
Here's the problem, Mary. You said you think that Elon is asexual and only wants to, has kids via IVF and surrogacy. So how can he be both part of a fetishized sexual community and asexual?
Maybe it's not sexual for him.
That makes it even weirder than the people who are in it.
Maybe he scares away all of his lovers when he tells them that this is his fetish, so they have to use IVF instead of having sex. Like that follows, that tracks.
I remember there was an episode of iZombie where these two characters do fur role play, and they have to explain it, and it's really
this is
awkward.
how normies learned what furries are, is through
much.
network television.
Yep.
But yeah, someone responded to that tweet and said, it's effing true. I'm not going crazy, and I know it sounds like BS, but it's real. And they posted a screenshot of a public tweet from Elon that is still up to this day from back in 2019. Someone asked Elon, are you a furry? He said, these rumors are untrue. But someone else replied, he meant, do you identify as a furry? And he replied, fur curious. He's not a furry. He's not a full-blown furry, but he's fur curious. That's his words, not mine. And then people also presented the evidence that Elon allegedly role-played as his own baby in an alt account, which is now suspended on Twitter. I have no idea if he ever ran this account.
I think he's got those time-dilating drugs that slow down time, that give him like the ability to do more in one lifetime than
maybe
the average person.
I don't know how a multi-billionaire running multiple companies and having like so many children has the time to run an alt account on Twitter role-playing as his own child, but he did it, allegedly. Allegedly. This was an account at ERMN Musk. And people found this in a screenshot that he took of his own profile. They saw the profile picture next to his and saw that it was one of the accounts he was logged into. So allegedly he role plays as a baby. Allegedly he is fur curious. And not only that, here's the most damning part of it all. An account under the name Christy Olsen posted a response saying, I just had to go through literally 30,000 photos of the most traumatic moments of my life, but it was worth it. Presented without commentary. Can we show this image of Elon from
which one is it?
Years ago?
Is it
it's the one where he's wearing a sort of a fursuit, but it's not like a real fursuit.
It's not in that link. Is it in the other?
It's a onesie.
It's in the okay, hold on. Yeah.
Do you have it?
Yep.
That's the photo evidence of him dressed up as like an owl or something. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure that's him. It looks like him, right?
It looks like him a little bit, yeah.
So in this image, you can see Elon wearing a onesie with an owl character on it.
What's he actually
rolling a joint.
Okay.
In complete pitch darkness. And I have no idea the context in which this was taken.
It says additional context. I didn't take this picture. It was sent to me by a Tesla employee in 2021. I didn't clock it as a furry thing and completely forgot about it until I saw the discourse. What's funny about that is Elon's weird enough where your mind doesn't immediately go to furry. You just go, it's like Parker in the show Leverage, where she's walking around dressed as a nun and nobody says anything. Says she's going to do a con as a nun. He goes, you thought she was going to do something else? He goes, it's Parker. She could totally just be dressed like that for no reason.
Yeah,
Elon,
just don't question
He could just walk around like that.
But you guys know I have no problem with kink shaming people. I don't even think that term means anything. But it is funny how all of these leftists who hate Elon Musk are the ones constantly complaining about being kink shamed. And now that it's Elon who's being kink shamed, it's okay. So one person commented, oh, so now kink shaming is okay because you don't like the guy doing it? And this person just said yes.
At least they're honest.
At least they're honest. And if it's true that Elon is a furry, I would say he deserves to be kink shamed for that 100%, especially if he's role playing as a baby animal. That's weird.
Yeah, leave the baby animal stuff out of there. If you're going to be an adult furry, just what he should do is launch a furry into space.
When people say that it's not a sexual thing, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that. But if there's a furry in the chat right now who feels slandered, please,
maybe, you know what it is?
Defend yourself.
You know what it is? What, for all you know, it was Halloween.
He was rolling a joint on a Halloween night with his Tesla coworkers.
Could have been. And he's lazy when it comes to costume
And
planning.
someone decided to save that in their hard drive for over a decade.
I mean, if anything, that says more about his openness, that he's willing to be photographed like that and not assume that it's going to be used negatively. Look, there's a photo of Taylor Swift standing next to somebody wearing a swastika, and nobody associates that with her.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Just because Elon wears a fursuit once, he's the bad guy.
Well, currently this picture of him in the owl suit has 5.5 million impressions and no community note.
None.
Thank you. So I'm assuming for now that it's legit.
Must be true.
Must be legit, but he has not commented publicly yet.
Here's the thing. I read it on the internet, so it must be true.
Everything you see on the internet is true.
I'm just going to assume from now on that everything I see online is in fact true.
Well, we're going to put this in our conspiracy theory video folder.
This will definitely be a conspiracy theory video. Look, he also, maybe what it is like he's got a stressful job. This is just how he unwinds.
Yeah.
This is how he unwinds. He gets done with work.
Well,
Look,
they say once you get so rich, you kind of are looking for novelty constantly.
Some men who are rich, famous CEOs, they seek out dominatrixes because they make decisions all day long. They don't want to be in charge anymore, so they hire dominatrixes. Elon doesn't do that. He doesn't need a dominatrix. He just puts on the fursuit and he transports to another world in his brain.
Or he asks Amber Heard to cosplay
as Mira.
No, what was the character from Overwatch that he wanted her to dress up as? He proved that himself. He posted the photo evidence himself.
Yep.
So, I mean, if he's going to out one of his exes for cosplaying in the bedroom, then I think he deserves the same thing to happen to him.
I think Elon is he's just blowing off steam. He's perfectly fine. And as far as I'm concerned, all that stuff about baby fur is slander, and he's not into any of that.
I don't know. Elon, if you see this, if you're listening to this,
come on the show. Tell us about it.
Come on the show and tell us about your furry past.
We won't talk about your kids. We won't talk about X. We won't talk about Tesla.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about furry.
No politics, just furry stuff.
We want to talk about it.
All right. Let's read the rest of these super chats. Surinko Productions said this is the worst cringe of the day. I've seen every one. Was it really the worst?
There was one I feel like recently that was worse.
I just feel like the piss jar was so much worse.
It's a different.
Sorry for bringing that up, but I feel like that was worse.
It's a different kind of ugh.
Yeah. Prince Elian said, black guy says poetry girl is annoying and lame. Thank you for your input. You're right. The Manic Mustache said, I wish I would have been late today. The Chicana Shakespeare is my wife's cousin. We're going camping this weekend with her family. Can't wait for campfire chat. It's gonna get spicy. Pray for me. You're joking. You're not actually related to this chick.
Like horchata spicy? How spicy?
You're lying. I feel like you're lying, but you can't post receipts anyway.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's on the internet, therefore it's true. I said
what
everything.
Should he say? Should he call her out or just leave it?
I mean, I would just ask her the very famed question, who hurt you? And then let us know who it was that hurt her.
Yeah, I think maybe this campfire chat could be what resolves her trauma.
That would be helpful. That would be very helpful.
You know,
or
she just needs a shoulder to cry
Worst comes to worst.
She just needs a mustache to
She
cry
starts slam poetrying right there around the campfire and then expects you to...
Yeah, just say like, I've seen your slam poetry online. I'm so impressed by it. Could you give us some campfire entertainment? And you'll hear some bars. Rhaegar Targaryen said the MCU is dead. The stages of grief are upon us.
I think that's been going on for a while.
Is it dead?
I mean, no, because look, there's whole portions of the internet now that discuss whether that term's even relevant in these things. Dead is a colloquial term when people have that discussion, right?
Dead relative to what?
Exactly, right? Like, so is the excitement anywhere near what it was in phases 2 and 3? Hell no. But dead, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to tell you. Certainly the TV shows don't seem to be beneficial to anyone. And only certain movies do well, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Even Doctor Strange, which with its horrible word of mouth made $900 million. But if we're talking The Eternals, if we're talking shows like Agatha, if we're talking about Shang-Chi or any of these other ones, is there really any excitement there? Even the excitement around Falcon, Captain America this time around, isn't what you would imagine it would be if this was 5-10 years ago. So I don't know. Pick your poison.
Shane H. Wilder said, remake Austin Powers. How about no, you crazy Dutch bastard?
There you go.
Please don't do it. I feel like they're going to.
They won't. They can't. They can't do that.
That's what we say every time, but every time we're proven wrong.
I mean, I don't know if
there's nothing they won't destroy.
The only way they would do it is if they gender swapped it and made it August powers. I don't know, and made it something other than a guy.
I mean,
you can't do perverse humor with guys now, can you?
Is it gonna be based on the cryogenic freezing thing again? Like, is he going to be frozen in the year?
We'll get a fembot like side like spin-off.
We're gonna get a fembot spin-off. Oh no, you're right.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Well, it was like he was frozen before everyone got cynical and boring in the 60s, in the swinging 60s. And there's no such, fun, carefree time to freeze him in now. It's like,
not now.
you can't really, there's you can't use that for anything.
The 90s.
But that's the thing. They portrayed the late 90s as this very cynical, boring, legalistic time that he didn't understand because he came from the 60s.
it'll be looked on.
And it only got worse.
Yeah, but the thing is though is like that's when you had the 60s as compared to the 90s. Now you have the 2020s as compared to the 90s. So you do somebody from our time and send them back to the 90s.
Send them back?
Yes, rather than forward.
Is time travel even part of it?
We'll make it part of it. Make
it part of it, yeah. Rhaegar Targaryen said, speaking of weird food ideas, imagine a lean cereal. Scissorpios, Texas tea cornflakes, Tussin Charms, Purple Drink, Raisin Bran.
Look, they make like fake fake purple drink that you can buy at gas stations.
What do you mean fake?
It's basically like melatonin drinks that they advertise as like lean. It's not actually supposed to be that, but yeah, you can get that.
Yikes.
Who cares though? I'll tell you what I have been buying recently is I found a dollar store around here that has wrap snacks, which I haven't seen in years, and they've got they're just different types of chips, and they've got the Master P honey barbecue chips. They're very good. Good honey barbecue chips are rare these days.
Full endorsement.
Yep, full endorsement.
Use code Brett20.
Yes.
For 20 chips off. Yes. Rhaegar Targaryen said, we need Chris Hansen back. Too many predators. Well, I mean, wasn't Chris Hansen also in his own controversy?
Recently, in the last couple of years.
They said that he was like pressuring victims into speaking out before they wanted to or something. Shane H. Wilder said, a Jigsaw-esque MrBeast puppet ride out on a trike. Do you want to play a game? You must escape a room with Chris Tyson. No.
We can't do that.
Now they have to delete all of the scenes in the MrBeast game show that had Chris Tyson in them. Yep. They're in reshoot mode. Sirenko Productions said Squid Game was not balanced LMAO. Literally, the first game was red light, green light, where they had to run to the other side under a time limit. Yeah, I don't think it was ever supposed to be totally egalitarian and separated by ability or weight class.
Yeah.
That's the point. Yeah. Is that whoever's the best will win.
Look, I've been told in movies and television shows for decades that 90-pound women can beat up men 3 times their size. They should just stop complaining. The movies told me it was true. Just like the internet, if the movies say it's true, it's true.
But when I got kicked off the show, it made me really depressed. And then the staff didn't care about me anymore once they kicked me off.
I hired 500 therapists to solve the problem of depression. I cured depression. MrBeast cures depression. He can actually make that video.
One of his philanthropy videos where he cures their depression.
Just gives them money.
Yeah. Wyatt Coldenberg said, this woman sounds like she's making a commercial for the MrBeast game show. If it is really that hard, unfair, and cruel, I want to watch.
It's like, wow, that sounds horrible. How can I watch?
Same. Yeah. It's making me want to watch the show. Shane H. Wilder said, I still want Mary to watch Major Pain.
It is on one of the streaming services. At least it was fairly recently. Not that Mary would watch it on one of the streaming services, but you could watch it.
I use alternative streaming services like Tubi. So is it on Tubi?
Let's see what it's on.
We'll figure that out. Not That Jon Stewart said, show idea for MrBeast. He brings on Joe Rogan to guest host and they give it a cool name like, oh, I don't know, Fear Factor. I'll see myself out.
Yeah, Fear Factor was around back in the 90s.
He's kind of copying it, but I'm sure he's bringing his own creative flair.
Yep.
Sorenko Productions said, once again, he's delusional enough to think that he is a woman, so his opinion on Elon has no weight and should be discarded.
In relation to who?
I believe Elon's child, who identifies as trans. Yeah, I mean, I certainly hope that none of those accusations are true. That's terrible. DCNC said, think Elon's got some Amber Heard furry cosplay.
Well, no wonder
For sure.
No, I mean, no wonder he got caught on that elevator cam, right? She was luring him upstairs with a fursuit.
100%. Corey Anderson said, controversial take, men are not women. Jesus is the Lord, and Elon is a funny dude that has done more for the environment than any other of these stinky hippies that complain about him.
There you go. Okay, there you go. He's also strong purveyor of boomer memes.
So these are popular takes in these parts, so you're going to have to step up your game if you're looking for
It was
controversial takes.
What was one like last week? Somebody said that like me when we were talking about DEI Barbies.
Yeah.
And they were like they were saying like my take was like really like it was just weird, right?
That was what?
They were like, why is Mary the only one with nuts on here about about that take? I was like, actually the controversial take in these parts would be that it isn't a problem. Not that it is a problem, because around here,
right, we
would normally say that that's pretty true, that these things are stupid, but saying that it's not is actually the more controversial take. Now, if you go on, The View and tell them that DEI Barbie is a problem, then it's the controversial take, because over there you'll get yelled at for it.
Right, but I was mentioning the moms on that episode during that discussion. And then I swear over the weekend, I was driving behind this woman with a bumper sticker that was in the shape of like a puzzle piece. And it said, autism kid on board.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm telling you, these moms create identities out of having a child with a disability of some sort.
I told you.
And they use it to seem virtuous. And that's exactly why a disability Barbie exists. It's for those women.
I never even liked the idea of like identifying as girl dad or boy mom.
I hate those too.
It just seemed like a completely
I'm sure it started out innocent and then it turned into something really weird over time.
Yeah.
But I see all of these self-proclaimed boy moms especially having very strange relationships with their sons.
It just seemed unnecessary. Like we like it's almost like as human beings we can't help but self-segregate into smaller and smaller communities.
Oh, here's a take that might be controversial. I don't even know if you guys are gonna. I don't know what you guys would think of this. I cannot stand gender reveal parties. I think it's the stupidest thing ever.
I don't know if that. Look,
no one cares what gender your baby is. It's all for social media. No one actually cares. Make your pregnancy announcement, fine. But no one cares whether you're having a boy or a girl. And not only that, it always turns into this horribly toxic thing where one of the parents is mad that they're having the gender that they didn't prefer.
Yeah.
And it's like, you shouldn't really even care what gender your kid is anyway. Like, just be happy that you're having a baby. Chill out. And no one actually cares that much what gender your baby is. It's so narcissistic to even think they would.
It's definitely like an exercise in narcissism. But I would say in the age now where they're saying that your baby's assigned at birth, having parents that just want to talk about whether their child is a boy or a girl is actually a revolutionary act in 2024.
I guess it's all very contradictory.
What it is it's a window back into normiedom.
Sure.
Without even realizing it.
I just can't stand it. Like they use the balloons and the smoke bombs and it becomes
like a fodder for social media content where they make who has the most creative gender reveal party.
Or like taking a video where the dad performatively acts like he's really upset and angry that he's having a daughter.
Yeah.
Like that's so toxic and just weird to me.
Yep.
Why would you want your kid to ever see that in the future, that you were like disappointed in the fact that they like existed?
Yeah.
It's very weird. I hate it. I hate the whole thing. The whole culture around it. Shane H. Wilder said, baby fur, I'm a head out. Nope, do not want.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
We we look long into the abyss here on this show.
It's what we do the best, honestly.
Guys, we're about like 2/3 of the way, or no, I'm sorry, 1/3 of the way to a third crisis party. Just pointing that out.
Olvin McGoth said we need more kink shaming. I hate seeing kink stuff in the open, around in public. Can we talk about the messed up Olympic opening? We are going to be saving all discussion of Olympic ceremony stuff until Friday, which is episode 666. In case any of you missed that part in our intro, episode 666 is going to be all about things like that. I'm sure there are plenty of other examples we could draw upon, but I feel like that's the time and place to get into all of that. And Aiden Mattis is coming back.
Let's
for
go.
That episode. Omega Red Fan said, hello, Elon, come on down. Haha.
Yeah.
I'm sure he is watching, and we're officially requesting his presence. Wodenshot said, do not approve of featheries or degen owl content. Is that what they're called? If you're a furry that identifies as a bird, you're actually a feathery.
Also, what is the difference between an otherkin and a furry?
Otherkin believe that they actually are
the
animal.
Yeah.
Like in their soul.
Yeah. I remember those.
That's just trans, but for animals.
There was a Dose of Buckley video called You're Weird and That's Okay. And it was basically critiquing this guy who says that he was transforming at work. And
he's like a werewolf.
He's a werewolf.
Yeah.
And it was like 10. And that video is like 10 or 12 years old now.
That was one of the first. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was just at a PetSmart the other day, and I saw that they have Pride collections of dog toys and dog beds.
Well, of course.
And dog clothes. And I'm like, is there like some kind of audience for like gay dogs that want to wear gay clothes because your dog is gay? They
the
not
dog
even
is
just
an
that.
extension of their personality.
They had like a rubber dog bone that was printed with the trans flag on it for trans dogs. How is this stuff a thing? It's, by the way, not Pride Month anymore. It hasn't been for a while. They just couldn't sell any of that shit because no one wants it because they can't have a gay dog.
It's like
you can't have a trans dog.
It's like having the vegan dog or the vegetarian dog.
Sorry, it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Shane H. Wilder said piss jar was nauseating. This just killed brain cells.
Yeah, the piss jar one just made me kind of want to throw up. Whereas there was another one that was really bad recently, and I can't remember it. Maybe my brain has blocked it out via some form of PTSD. But there was another one recently that was even worse. What? Oh, actually, you know what? The one of the girl trying to outdo Tuah might have been worse to me.
Really?
I hated it.
It was just a bit though.
No, not today. The street interview lady, not today. The other one, the lady who was like,
yeah, I remember when she was like eating the microphone.
That was worse to me.
Really?
It reeked.
I can never tell what your taste in cringe is.
It reeked of desperation and sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson, I'm not reading that. And Rhaegar Targaryen said, fine, replace Chris Hansen with Alex Stein. I would be okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, now they've got Vitaly and...
they've got Alex Rosen, right?
Going around.
Pop Culture Junkie said, if the MCU somehow gets resurrected, I'm reminded of the H.L. Mencken quote. No one ever went broke underestimating the taste of the American people.
We'll have to wait and see whether it's... Look... If you were to ask me, I don't think it ever returns itself to its former glory. I don't think that's actually possible. Right? Like it's never like I know it's kind of a cliche to say like it was a moment in time or it was a product of its time, but it was you had to be there, right? Yeah. Like you had to be there. The world is different now. I mean, you have to think that all of this goes back to 2008, like when Iron Man came out. The Dark Knight came out the same year. And the world was a vastly different place than it is now.
Did people even associate those two things in their minds as a similar genre?
I mean, they're vastly different films.
Of course, they're totally different.
But I mean, at that time, you would have looked at DC as the better of the brands, given that they'd made some decent Batman movies up to that point, leaving out Batman and Robin, of course, and the lead up to it. I still contend that the death of Heath Ledger played a lot in the
Definitely.
ambiance and the aura around that movie at the time.
To get people to watch the Crow reboot, they just need to fake Bill Skarsgård's death.
Yeah.
And then people are going to go watch it to see him one last time.
That trailer was ass. I'm sorry. That trailer was the most corpo slop garbage. Here's the thing.
Gladiator 2 was worse.
Corpo slop garbage can still be entertaining, but not when it has such a legacy behind it, right? Like it should have been made to industrial metal. And there should have been no Post Malone and Ozzy Osbourne together. It just looked so prepackaged.
Just either pick Post Malone or Ozzy Osbourne.
Actually, you know what?
You can't have both.
You can't have Post Malone for that trailer. It has to be like industrial rock or
like what bands
or symphonic, or it has to be some type of orchestral soundtrack. It can't be Post Malone. It can't be.
What bands would that?
Somebody in the chat could better list what they would use. Take the Blade soundtrack, or how about this? London After Midnight would have been a great band to use. That's not industrial rock, but it would have been a great band to use for that trailer. I would play some of it right now. There's a song by them called Demon that would have been a great song for that trailer that they would have, of course, then had to do their stupid remix to it and add rap.
Just have BB Rexa cover the song.
No.
Shane H. Wilder said Major Pain is on Tubi through tomorrow. Well, that's random.
No. Very random. Well, yeah. Well, it's the end of the month is coming up, so
okay.
That it's one of those things I never looked at before, but they really do have the just added on these streaming platforms, and I never think to check them, but now I do.
You should do that.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, I agree with Mary on gender reveal parties. My parents didn't want to know what I was until I was born. They were gonna love me no matter what.
I mean, they should love you even if they do know ahead of time.
Right, like that's the hope.
What did you do wrong? That's the real question is, what did you do wrong to be so hated by your family?
People want to know
Everyone blames the parents. Maybe the kids just sucks. Did you ever think of that?
People want to know beforehand so that they can plan out the clothes and the nursery and all of the Instagram photo shoots.
Well, that's the problem when you're planning your child around Instagram photo shoots. That's a problem.
Yeah. Olvin McGoth said the opening was the first thing I saw when I got home from working at the Ren Festival this weekend, and it gave me a mental whiplash.
The Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Working at a Ren Festival sounds fun, but is it like the documentary? There's a power struggle.
You know what you need to make? We know we should make a video. By the way, guys, we still have over 800 people watching this show and 400 likes, guys. Come on, let's get those likes up. And we're about halfway, a little over halfway to that third crisis party before we sign out here. Now, what we should have you do is we should make a video of you with the things you like. Mary recommends section.
Like an exhaustive list of everything I like.
It doesn't have to be exhaustive, but you know, it's people make fun of me because I seem to like most things. You don't, so it would mean more if you shared the things you liked. It's like a list of things you like.
I could. Whenever I say that I like something, they're like, "Oh, you like the wrong thing."
Well,
you know what I mean?
Who cares about that? Just tell them the things you like, and I'm sure there will be people.
I should have a list.
Yeah,
but it's all obviously, we have a majority male audience. Everything I like is movies that are basically for women.
You liked American Psycho and...
Well, yeah.
So you got that.
And The Social Network.
That's why I didn't... Is
that a male movie?
That's why I didn't list that one. I don't know what that one is.
I don't know what that is.
It's for the men who loved the manic pixie dream girl in the mid 2000s.
But there was never a character like that in The Social
No, but
Network.
it's got Jesse Eisenberg, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay. The first male manic pixie dream girl. Yeah, I like both of those. I'll have to come up with a list if we're gonna do that.
Okay, so when was the last time you rewatched something that you like?
I rewatched I think I rewatched The Devil Wears Prada on a plane.
There you go.
But that's rare.
Again, that's male audience might not identify with.
Basically, if I don't want to rewatch something, I rate it a 0. If I watch a movie and I didn't like it enough where I would rewatch it at some point, it's a 0.
I mean, that's kind of like, I kind of like that idea of using that as a voting metric. But by that metric, just by virtue of like not wanting to these days, I would vote most things as I wouldn't rewatch.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Like,
is everything sucks so bad that you wouldn't want to see it again.
But it's not that it sucks. It's that, I think part
there's
of
nothing special. It's not special. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like you consume it once.
The most,
and that's it.
Like the only movies that I've rewatched recently aren't new, and it was like I've watched National Treasure several times this year, several times.
See, that's a testament to how much you love it. Yep. Carnell said, "If we're going to say that Disney Marvel isn't dead, can we at least agree that it's on life support? I'm completely apathetic to the MCU after No Way Home. Also, sign up Sydney Sweeney as a fembot.
She would do it.
She would. She would be the only one." Who would do it?
Who would embrace it?
Yeah, who would do that?
Her and Elizabeth Hurley can make that
Dua
together.
Lipa should be one of the fembots. She looks good with the big, tall beehive hair.
They can do that. Well, then she'd look like she's going to be in one of those old Orbitz commercials.
True.
Yeah. All right, guys.
What was the commercial that Ian did?
It was an Orbitz commercial, I think.
It was? Okay.
Guys, well, you guys probably know Timcast lore better than us. It was probably an Orbitz commercial, I think, that Ian was in. So, all right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not subscribed here yet already? Mary, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, you can send me validation on Instagram at MaryArchived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also MaryArchived.
Perfect. If you guys would like to follow me, I am on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would prefer to listen rather than watch this show. And if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and not TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Mary, I think one more came in there.
Shane H. Wilder said, look at the original Crow soundtrack for Love Not Lisa, My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. Also, did not have American Psycho on a Mary Likes list.
I mean, I think you've made several American Psycho references on this show before.
I have?
I think so.
Like what?
I don't remember. Like,
maybe I don't even know that I'm doing it.
That means you really like it.
Really? I've only seen it one time or maybe twice.
All right, guys.
It was good.
With that being said, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.